I am starting a business and it's called VIA Chakra. So I'm using this time to celebrate the birthday of VIA Chakra. I'm letting everyone know I'm giving my business a birth date, y'all. So I am an Aries. I'm an April Aries, April 3rd, and my business is going to be a March Aries, okay? Because March Aries and April Aries, they are different. So March 30th, 2024, happy birthday to VIA Chakra. It's VIA Chakra's birthday. And this has been a transition from the chakra freak. I am now VIA Chakra. So this presentation is going to be about the chakras. I'm obsessed with the chakras. Like, they are so important. And this is going to be a very, very general understanding and presentation because their chakras are just so deep to go into. They entail so much. And we're just going to start with exactly where I started when I was being taught about the chakras, which is at the very, very beginning. And we're just going to get into it. So what I want to leave you with today is I want you to know what chakras are and how they are important. And so you see the person over here. This is a symbol. Often when you look up chakras, you'll see the symbol of a person sitting in a seated position, and you have like a line of colors going up the spine. And that is basically how the chakras are stacked in the body. So, what are chakras? I love this visualization. Basically, the goal in working with the chakras is likened to the transforming of the bloat caterpillar into a creature of beauty, grace, and freedom, which is the butterfly. So this is the process. We start out as the caterpillar, just crawling around, still beautiful. And as we develop and evolve, we try to think of our future of like all of our accomplishments as being the culmination of us being able to fly away, like as a butterfly. So like the goal is transformation. The goal is to lighten up. The goal is to become beautiful and just become a different type of creature altogether. And working with our chakras, it gives us that possibility. So one definition of the chakras in Indian thought is each of the centers of spiritual power in the human body, usually considered to be 7 in number. And so on the left side here, you have starting from the crown, going all the way down to the root chakra, along with the chakra names. And so this is just kind of like a base understanding just for you to look at in a visual, for you to kind of recognize like these are the colors that align with each chakra, and then they have special names that we're not going to go into today, but these are the names. Okay, the true definition of chakras is chakra is Sanskrit. It's a Sanskrit word meaning wheel or disc. And Sanskrit is like, it's an ancient language, like even more ancient Egypt is more ancient than Sanskrit, but Sanskrit is an ancient term, but Egypt even goes beyond further past Sanskrit. So it's basically a word meaning wheel or disc. So that's to start. And then wheels, when you speak of the wheel, it's the wheels of energy where physical and spiritual meet. This energy is invisible to the human eyes, which is called prana energy. So invisible energy is called prana energy. And this is the energy that is circulated within the wheels and almost like in a vortex type of form in your body. So there are regions in our bodies where there is spinning of energy like a vortex and contains our psychological, emotional, and spiritual states of being. So that's why I say the chakras are so important and that they're so deep. And this is why I'm like, just really enjoy having this conversation about them. So how many chakras do we have? There are thousands of chakras, which a lot of people don't know. They are throughout the body, but we focus on the 7 major chakras. For example, we have chakras in our hands and our feet, and that includes like the tips of our fingers. They're just minor chakras, but those are centers of energy, right? So when you think of using your hands, you use your hands for so many things. There's chakras there. And so there's a minor one right in the center. And this is why people are able to, rub their hands together and, they're all trying to gather this prana energy, this invisible energy. You can do that with your hands. And you've seen that like in several movies. And so that's what we're working with. And that's what we're talking about. They're also called meridian points. And so there are some like areas of study that say we have 114 chakras. And so what they're referring to is all of the meridians, which is kind of the central of Eastern medicine. Like if you're into any type of like acupuncture, this is like where that center of thinking comes from. So the 7 major chakras, the 7 main chakras. So crown, we have the third eye, we have the throat chakra, the heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, the sacral chakra, and the root chakra. And then again, they have their special names right next to them. So why are learning about the chakras important to know? The chakras store and provide energy. We must master these energy fields in order to ascend. So stored low vibrational energy in any chakra point can cause us to remain low vibrating and operating on the 3rd dimension. So you have blockage in your chakras. So you may have heard that you have blockage in a particular chakra and that you need to unblock the particular chakra. And there are ways to do that. And we are not going to get into it today, but we are going to get into it at some point in like, not today, but we're going to get into maybe the next presentation. So to understand this, you must first understand how the energy works. So that's what we're going to get into. We're going to get into how the energy actually works. So what causes blockages in our chakras is trauma. And so a lot of people don't know this, but trauma is what creates these blockages. And so as you can see the arrow, that you can visualize as like your flow of energy. And you can see within the middle, there's like this type of plaque that is building up. That is blockages. That is from trauma. So when trauma happens, you start to build up these blockages, these little plaque fields in your energy flow. And it starts to just basically inhibit you in certain different ways. And that's when you get certain illnesses, you'll have certain behaviors, certain conditioned behaviors. And that's why we want to be able to release those blockages, clear those blockages, heal from trauma. And that's why it's so important for us to identify trauma and heal from that trauma, because then you can release that and there can be a free flow of energy. So trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident or a natural disaster. So I just put this picture here because I was like, you know what? That is like a nice version of what trauma could look like. Like when I look at this picture, you could kind of see a lot of different things. Like I kind of see like nightlife. I see like lasers going off. But like subconsciously, I think like I do kind of feel like this is a traumatic picture only because like I could kind of get a little alien invasion from this vibe, look like alien invasion vibe. If you like go out at night in LA, it could be a little traumatizing, you know, people everywhere, people dancing, screaming, bumping into you. Like I can't go to the clubs anymore because I'm clearly traumatized. But this right here is like a pretty version of what trauma could be. So very important because a lot of people do not know this, but it is important for you to know your moon sign. Do you know your moon sign? So I'm an Aries. That is my sun sign. And in order to find like my moon and my rising signs and all of the, in order to basically know myself better, you have to print out your natal birth chart. So everyone has like an astrological chart that you can plug in your birth date, the location of where you were born, and the time that you were born. And that will give you your complete birth chart. And on your birth chart, I spell moon with 3 O's, you will see your moon sign. So your moon sign, by knowing your moon sign, you can better understand the traumatic experiences that have happened in your life. And so that's why it's really important to know your moon sign. My moon sign is in Leo. So we're going to talk about what that means. So you respond emotionally based on your moon sign. If you know your moon sign, put an 8 in the chat for me. If you do know your moon sign, put an 8 in the chat for me. Because if you are a water sign, if your moon sign is a water sign, and a water sign is Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, then you are going to react, your reaction to a traumatic event is going to be, you're going to cry. Like you are most likely going to cry. Like water signs are known for being emotional, but that doesn't mean that they're emotional. That just means that they express their emotion more than others. So if a traumatic event happens, a water sign, people with water signs as their moon signs are the most likely to actually, you know, you're gonna cry, you're gonna have an outward reaction. If you are a fire sign, my fire sign is Leo, so this would be me. If your fire sign is, if you have a fire sign as your moon, your reaction is going to be, you're going to have another outward reaction, but it's going to be different. It's going to be more of anger or of frustration because it's fire. You know, you got that fire, so it's not, you may not cry. You're going to get mad. For air signs, they immediately start overthinking. They just start thinking like processing it, trying to figure it out. To them, when some type of emotional event or a traumatic event happens, they start thinking maybe conspiracy, or they really just start to like overthink, just really burn that candle. And if you're an earth sign, you're going to get grounded with the information. You're going to say, what does this mean? And you're going to go within. So like these are all emotional responses, and yet only 2 may appear to be emotional. So your water sign, your fire sign, they're going to show something outwardly, but your air sign and your earth sign, they're going to keep it within, but they are still traumatized as well. And so this is a way for us to identify whether we've been traumatized or not. We can say like, oh, this event happened to me, but I wasn't traumatized. I didn't cry or anything. You know, I just kind of, you know, I sat with it and thought about it until it just made me sick. You know what I mean? Like, it's like things like that things like that happen instead of you having an outward response. You're like, but I didn't respond emotionally. That doesn't mean you weren't traumatized. That just means that everyone processes trauma in a different way. But let me tell you, we've all been traumatized in some way. Everyone has trauma. And that is what my brand is about. I'm helping people. I want to help people heal from their trauma. So that's what VIA Chakra is about. And so that's why I'm so interested in chakra work. So everyone has trauma. So there's 3 types of trauma. There's acute, chronic, and complex. So it's good to understand. This is another way for us to identify the things that have happened to us, because acute trauma is from a single incident. So for instance, like an accident, like something like boom, like, a natural disaster, like something that just comes out of nowhere and just devastating. That is an acute trauma. Chronic trauma is repeated, is prolonged. It's like domestic violence. It's like, getting spankings, giving spankings. Complex is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events. So complex is, a lot of people who think that they don't have any trauma actually have complex trauma, because it's so complex they don't even know that they have it. It's basically, complex trauma is when you witness someone else going through trauma. It can also be growing up in the hood, can be complex trauma, because you're exposed to so many things and you see so many things. And yeah, you might be good at your house and in your home, but you see so much, and that is traumatizing. So how blocked chakras keep you stuck on your spiritual path? And we're going to talk about it. So imagine you as and this idea has come, this basically breakdown, or this understanding was taught to me by Professor Melanie, who is the founder of the Spiritual Ascension University. And so she helps us understand the chakras. She helps us understand the chakras by visualizing us as a hot air balloon. So let's say that we, as individuals, we are hot air balloons, okay? So we start out deflated on the ground, all right? And so each puff of air added will make the balloon rise, right? So the puff of air is like you on your spiritual journey, okay? You go to church, or you read your Bible, or you come to my chakra presentation, and those puffs of air, they inflate you and you're inflated. And say like you really working on yourself, you're really healing from trauma, and you've got your hot air balloon fully inflated. Now you're ready to take off, so now you have to start releasing the sandbags, okay? And the sandbags, that represents your trauma, okay? So you can't get off the ground without releasing the sandbags. And so each sandbag that you release, the more able you are to lift up off the ground, right? So like, if that makes sense, like that is the visualization that I like to use. And that has helped me kind of think about like how I need to work through my traumas, and why chakras are so important in working through our traumas and identifying like what we need to focus on. So this is just kind of like a small, just like kind of a really, really just brief like word next to each chakra. So like when you want to start at the root chakra is about your basic needs, stability, security. Then you move up. Your sacral chakra is about sexuality. That's where your reproductive organs are. Okay, and then you want to go into your solar plexus chakra, which is about wisdom. And then your heart chakra, which is about love. Your throat chakra is about communication. And that includes your ears, so speaking and listening as well. Your third chakra is about awareness, and your crown chakra is about spirituality. So this is why you should work with your chakras, because you'll have traumas that sit in different various areas of your body. and they will affect that area of your body. So let's say that you have a trauma where you were told, not to speak as a child. That trauma can lead to can lead to stuttering, can lead to like a weak voice, someone who's just very soft spoken, or it could lead to like, or prolonged trauma to that area can even lead to like certain diseases within the body. So this is why we want to heal our traumas, and this is why it's so important. So facts. Chakras cannot be held like material, right? It's that they're invisible, but the activities in the chakras influence our glandular processes, body shape, chronic physical ailments, thoughts, and behaviors. So singing, meditation, deep breathing, yoga, physical exercise, and visualization all raise your vibration and thus influence our chakras, thus influence our health and our lives. So when I talk about chakras, you have to include, like, I talk about chakras in order to inspire healthy living, and I can't talk about inspiring healthy living without talking about the body and like the food that we put inside of our bodies. So for one thing, like it's not enough to even just eat right. We also have to like detox. So the liver is one of the hardest working organs that never stops. The liver is the key to detoxification, one that can easily be overburdened if it's not being supported through proper diet and lifestyle. So you got to check on your livers, okay? Because the liver works to filter 2 to 3 pints. That's 1.3 to 11.5 liters of blood every single minute. And detoxing the liver consistently every day is very important for maintaining excellent liver health. So our food, let's talk about the foods that are good for our liver. I mean, that are the foods that are good for our chakras and our livers, obviously. But here's a list of different fruits and vegetables that resonate with the chakras. I like this visual because it just shows us that it's fairly easy to know what fruits and vegetables do resonate with each chakra, right? Because if they're green, you know, all green stuff we know is good for us, but like they're green is for the heart chakra. So we can know like broccoli is good for our hearts, spinach good for our hearts, right? Avocados, all these fruits look good for our hearts, but bananas are especially good for the solar plexus, and pineapples especially good for the solar plexus, and the orange is especially good for the sacral. And so we can kind of pinpoint or just focus more on the chakra that we want to work more with. But we really should just have a wide variety of fruits and vegetables that we consume on a daily basis. That's just on GP. So this is Juice Plus. So I like to talk about Juice Plus because Juice Plus has helped me in just getting, it's powdered fruits and vegetables. So it's helped me in getting the nutrients that I need and bridging the gap between like what I'm not eating and what I should be eating. And so the 3 blends have all of these fruits, vegetables, and grains in them, and they are all organically sourced, and they are just top notch. And I consume these each and every day. And so I'm just been prompted to share them with others. So what is Juice Plus? Juice Plus adds the nutrition of over 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries to your diet. So whole foods are harvested at the peak of ripeness, so the nutrition is intact. Produce is pulverized, not juiced, and dried into powders at low temperatures to preserve nutrients. Plant powders are put into capsules or delicious chewables. Full spectrum omega blends use omega-rich algae, berries, and seeds instead of fish. So this is one of the more recent blends, and I love it because it gives you your omega fatty acids, and they support a broad array of health benefits, especially for your heart, brain, joints, skin, and eyes. So 100% plant-based, pure and sustainable, full spectrum omegas, cold pressed vegan capsules. Like this stuff is just so good for you, and just being able to eat it on a daily basis is just, it kind of levels you up. You leveling up on your nutrition, and it's definitely more than I would be consuming on my own. Like there's no way I'm gonna be, chewing on pomegranate seeds and trying to get the oil out of it and all that. Like there's no way. So another thing that I like to have in my presentation is the tower garden. It's the future of growing. So my mom's got 4 tower gardens around here, and we love, or I guess she's gonna say 3, but we love using the tower gardens. Can't imagine my life without them. Basically, it's a way for you to grow your produce inside your house or on your back porch. But with them talking about food supply this and, organic bad food that, like, the tower garden has been like a way for us to just a way for you to just be sustainable on your own, grow your own fruits and vegetables. It's fun to do also, and it's interesting also, and it's just good for you, and it's not a bad teaching tool for children as well. So we also have protein powder. Juice Plus also has the complete shakes, which has like all of this great stuff in it. Broccoli sprouts, radish sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, chickpea powder, millet, quinoa, amaranth, pea protein, rice protein, water wash soy, and mushrooms. And these all are just there. It's used as a meal replacement. So it can help you lose weight. It can help you build muscle. It's definitely like just so nutritious. And when I was doing my detox, the Juice Plus really helped me get through, because I was able to get the nutrients. I had to like follow this vegan diet, and like it was just hard because I felt like I was withering away. But I had to kind of fill in the blanks with these smoothies, and I definitely was on point with my nutrition. So I made sure that those things, like I didn't falter with that. So Juice Plus is unique. It's food. So that's why it's not a multivitamin. So if you're thinking like, oh, I'm going to get this, let me just finish up my multivitamins that I have in my cabinet right now. Let me just tell you, like, it's not the same thing. Multivitamins are isolated, and Juice Plus is whole food nutrition. So you always want to do whole food nutrition over isolated vitamins. So it's food. There's a food label on it. It's made with non-GMO ingredients, vegan, kosher, dairy, and gluten-free. It's also NSF certified. So you want to make sure any product that you're taking, it is NSF certified, because that means what's on the label is exactly what's in it, which no banned substances. And NSF for sports certified capsules for professional athletes are also available. And so Juice Plus is also the most researched product out there, the brand name nutritional product in the world. So it is the most researched. So over 40 plus peer-reviewed published clinical studies. So you want to make sure before you put anything in your body that there is peer-reviewed published clinical studies to back it up. And Juice Plus has that. And lastly, Juice Plus is affordable. So we all have our coffee daily on a daily basis. And so this is a way for you can see the breakdown of how much it is on the daily. So you got the $267, you can see here for the capsules. You can get gummies free for kids with one adult purchase. And it's, it's worth it for all of the benefits that it provides, it's like you're well worth it. So it's really good to look into. And so you can purchase Juice Plus. You can just reach out to me and let me know if you ever want Juice Plus. I have my little site. You can go to my little site and check it out. But it's just shamika.juiceplus.com and shamika.towergarden.com, or if you want a tower garden.